going to try really hard to show you how I do this stitching. So it's really windy, I can't actually see what I'm filming, so we'll see how it goes. My friend and I decided that through this year we're going to try and get as many weekends away as we can, and we came up with this idea of doing a series called A Needle, a Pin and a Bottle of Gin, which is basically me anywhere. The bottle of gin bit, potentially not all the time, but you know, it's quite nice to sit with a glass of gin and stitch, or wine, or a cup of tea, or what have you. Very often it's tea with me. But I thought, rather than just talking to you about what I've done with these, I would actually show you just a little bit about how I go about it. So this weekend, actually for the whole week, we're in a lovely, quaint place called Mersea Island, which I've never been to before, but my friends have been and they loved it, and I've been lucky enough to have a week here with the dogs. And obviously anywhere I go, I take stitching, whether it be to friends' houses, whether it be on a train, whether it be anywhere really. I can't actually go anywhere without it. I did actually threaten to come away this week with no sewing, and my friend said, "Are you mad?" So yeah, clearly I was at the time. Anyway, I wanted to show you just how simple it is, particularly sewing when you're away. I've got, I hope you can see this, I've got this far. I've just shown you the centre. So what I want to do is try and show you the technique. Now I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this on video, but I will give it a go, and hopefully the phone won't blow over. I'm doing this on a phone, so with any luck it will be okay. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully you can see this. There's my last stitch, so I need to start kind of around here. And I'm really hoping this is picking up, because all I can see is a black screen because the light's so bright. So what I do is I come in quite a way away, and I've tucked underneath this one, which isn't actually stitched in yet, done a little anchor stitch, and then I'm just going to run the needle so that the thread will come out. It's quite difficult doing this at this angle. The thread will come out. I'll have to apologise for my nail polish as well, because normally I try really hard to have reasonably good nail polish on, but I've got tart nails right now, so hey ho, that's what happens when you sew. So I've come out now so that the stitch follows, and then what I'm going to try and do is to anchor this down. I want to try and get a stitch that goes over the top of this. So you could use a curved needle, but I really don't like them. So I'm just going to push the needle in, come up a little bit further along, and because it's foam, if I flatten it onto the table, I can just push the foam, and then you're just pulling that stitch through, so it anchors that next layer. If you find, I mean, normally you wouldn't pin all of these pieces on, you would pin them on as you go, but because I'm away and I'm doing all of these as a set, I pinned them all on because I wanted to make sure that all the colours worked. But you can adjust as you go. If you start getting, like that one's puckering in, so when I come to do here, I'll actually move that. Is my hand? So I guess it is. I'll actually move that up a little bit so that we don't end up with a lump. So yeah, so what you're doing is you're coming in, pushing down into the foam, and then I just pull through. You can do several stitches in one hit, so in true sashiko style really, you'll do, I'm going to take that pin out because it will just get in the way. Trusty pin cushion. You'll do one, and then this one isn't going to align, but it is going to come, actually it could do, if I give it a push, that will go in here, and then that will start the next row. So actually I'm just going to come through because I've just realised that's going to turn. So then what you're going to do is run along this next line. So you're going in small squares. So I'm going to push that in here, come out a little further along. Now you can use, you should really use a thimble for this, but I have nails like rock hard, so I tend to use my nails as tools. So just making sure that you haven't got any pucker bits, and then push down in, push that needle up, and then just pull it in. It looks like hard work, it's not really. And then I'm nearly to the next point of turning. So we literally are right in the center. So this one is going to go this way. So can you see now I've turned? And then get a great view of my double chin now. And then that one's going to go like that. And so forth. So it's been a really interesting few days down here. The heat hasn't been as intense as we've had it over the last couple of weeks, but it is 25 at the moment. My friend's gone swimming in the sea with some others of our friends, and I'm here with the dogs because it was just too hot for them. And so we're having a bit of a chill, and I'm doing this, and then I shall go swimming in the sea tomorrow. It's like a bath. Honestly, it's so hot. This is an estuary area, so it's got mud flats, and apparently the mud heats up and it heats the water. So it's just like going in a bath. I couldn't believe it when I got in it the other day. So we're turning again, and this wind is really good fun to sew in. It's taking the thread all over the place. It's not. It's the weirdest angle to sew at. Never mind. Listen, if you can get something out of this, then I'll be chuffed to bits. There's a tractor just gone past. So this is real life stitching on the go. I've just realised I'm doing all of this. My glasses are on my head. Who else does that? I'm terrible for it. So actually, I've just noticed that I'm going to come through and up, because that's not going to catch that fabric. So if that happens, ooh, I'll show you in a second. So I've just realised, because we're getting into the small bits here, I'd gone down below that area. I'm going to stitch that down, and it wasn't going to catch the next set of fabric. It gets fiddly here, but I want to be on the edge of the next line of fabrics, and then that will, looks like I'm making really hard work of this. If I was sitting doing this flat on my lap, it would be so much easier, but anyway, you wouldn't be able to see it then. So can you see it's pulling down, so it's just running along the edge of this piece of fabric and catching that up. Oops. And then we're going to turn again, and we're almost at the centre. This is a don't do as I do, do as I say. This probably looks like the worst kind of stitching in the world, but it's lovely slow stitching. The lovely thing about Kawandi is that it's not essential to be all lovely and neat and tidy. It doesn't matter if you don't sew in a straight line, or if you even can't sew in a straight line. It matters that the process is enjoyable. It matters that at the end of it you've got something that you love. I'm just going to anchor down my wings got up here, and this is the last stitch. So what I'm actually going to do is come across here, and I'm going to use an anchor stitch underneath this piece of fabric, and then I'm going to run. Oh, isn't it annoying when that happens? I'm going to run this away from where I'm stitching so that it comes out somewhere completely different. I hope that you can see this. And then that just helps that to anchor in. So I'm going to come out somewhere randomly down there, and then I'll just use my embroidery scissors, which are hiding here, and just nip that right off so that you can't see anything. And then that's the centre. Ta-da! So that's the whole thing done for this one. I have 2 more to do, so I will potentially, I'll talk you through some of those while I'm at it. Sometimes you get areas like this where you simply cannot run the stitches in the right place, and all I'm going to do with that is do a quick line of ordinary, with just ordinary sewing thread, and I'll just do a little bit of ladder stitching down there just to anchor it in, because these are going to be seat pads, so people are going to be sitting on them and getting in and off. I don't want that to get caught. But anyway, that's from ugly green to very pretty scrap Kawandi. So I will be back, and I will hopefully be doing some more studio photography ones. But I just thought it would be a bit of fun just to do a bit of stitching on the go, and we are going to produce this blog called A Needle, a Pin and a Bottle of Gin. And this is with my friend, she's been a friend for years, and we used to take our girls away on holiday together and the dogs, and we weren't able to do it for a few years, and this year we've got back in it again. No girls this time, they've grown up and they don't want to do it, I don't think. Maybe they will, who knows. But it's just the 2 of us now and the dogs, and a lot of adventures. So I don't think I'll be sewing in a kayak, but you never know, I might be. Anyway, for now, take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.